Hello, knife community, knife enthusiast, knife lovers, interested viewers folder here. I just want to do a follow-up video on the Leatherman plier-based multi-tool, the free P4. If you watch my other video on the P4, I mentioned something, and I'm just doing this follow-up video because I mentioned something. What I mentioned was that after getting this, that this is the last multi-tool that I feel like I would ever need. Like, this thing checks off all the boxes, and it still does. It still does. But I did want to point out that a few attributes about the Wave that are actually better than the P4. Now, this is, of course, my opinion, but make no mistake about it, my opinion, this is a better tool all around. I'm talking about the entire tool, the way it works, the way you access the each individual tool, just the technology behind it, using the magnets, just the way it is. It's incredible. But there are a few things about the Wave that are better, and I just wanted to point out. Number one, just another thing about the P4 that is, in my opinion, significantly better than the Wave is that the way the tools lock in the lock position is extremely good on this tool. So when you deploy any one of these the four larger tools, the saw, the two knives, and the scissors, which is actually on the outside, which is on the inside on this knife, but that's a different topic. Anyway, when you deploy them, if you noticed, this is the unlock mechanism here. So once I deploy this knife, you watch in this corner here, it starts to spread this spring-loaded locking mechanism open. Once the round part of the tang rides inside that groove, once it gets around to the front, there's an opening in the tang, and this anvil is going to drop inside that opening. Once it drops inside that opening, this knife isn't going anywhere because it can't go this way because it's locked up against the framework of the entire tool. And it can't go back down because of what I just showed you with the lock. So it is very effective at holding these tools in place. You do not run a very low risk of using this thing and it coming down on your fingers or something. Okay, and to unlock it, you simply push this up and it opens. Now on the Wave, which I really do like this tool, but on the Wave, when you deploy the main knife, if you notice, there's a spring-loaded mechanism here that's underneath the tang of the blade. Once the blade comes out, it pops up, and essentially, it's a frame lock. It's a liner lock or a frame lock. So let me just say this to all the frame lock lovers out there that are saying, so what, so what? I love frame locks. Absolutely love frame locks and liner locks. But make no mistake about it. If you are using a tool, like a knife or anything that uses a frame lock or a liner lock, and you're using it in a manner in which it was not intended, you run risk of hurting yourself or breaking the tool itself when you're talking about frame locks and liner locks. They're not as strong as, say, like the shark lock or the or back locks. There's certain locks that are much stronger than frame locks. And I'm not saying that in a negative, because using knives that use frame locks, using them in the manner in which they were intended, they are fine. But once you start doing something extra, once you start going above and beyond, there's an inherent danger with frame locks and liner locks. They don't have the same type of strength as something like the compression lock or something. This locking mechanism is extremely robust and stout. So using this in a manner in which it's not prescribed or intended, you probably will be able to get away with it more than something like this. Now that's one. That's a negative technically. Well, that's just not a negative or a positive. It's just a statement of fact. Now, the areas in which this tool, I believe, is better than this is one. When you look at the main knife, the main blade, straight edge, when you look at the one they offer in the Wave, it is just a much more. It's got a thicker blade stock. It's taller. It's longer. I mean, it's just a much more significant blade. Okay, that's one. Two, when you go to the saw, it's the same exact thing. So basically, what I'm saying is the main tools. Well, you know what? I take that back. The saws are almost even. I mean, this is a little bit bigger, but it's not just all about size all the time. The saws are pretty much equal. So you know what? We'll chalk that one up to being equal. But it doesn't really matter because once we get around to something like this, I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. The file. So they just chose to put that on here compared to this. And like I said, it's got the diamond code here to sharpen things. It has file ridges on the sides as well as on the main surface. So you can use this tool properly to properly, file something. This is, this is crazy. This is a joke. For a tool as nice as this to have that is, they didn't really care about that feature. So that's something on here that is absolutely much better. So, also too, the serrated, where is it on here? Yeah. The serrated knife. Look at that. I mean, holy crap. The height in which they made these blades, the blade stock is thicker. The height, it's just a much, and honestly, touching the teeth of this thing, I don't know what, it's almost the same grind. Let's see, is it? Yeah, it's actually the same grind. So I have no idea. Wait, 3, 2, 3. Yeah, it's the same grind. So because of it, I don't know why this thing feels just, they just sharpen this thing better. It's just, it really has some bite to it. I wouldn't really mess around running my finger on this edge too much, where this does not have that at all. Really, it just doesn't. But, you can cut with this, I'm sure. I'm sure of it. So the knives, both the straight edge and the serrated edge, the file definitely, is definitely better on this. And, the fact that you have to open this tool to get to the stuff inside is not ideal, but that's the improvement that they made on this. And this doesn't have magnetic technology. This does. That's why you can do that. But anyway, once you get inside, this is a little discerning. You have to use your fingernail to get to this. But once you do, this is great. This is fantastic. I mean, you can just use this. You can pull this out and use either side. And this is a very good attribute. If they had that on here, it'd be really nice. I like this a lot. So the screwdriver, the way it has the bits, you can buy bits, proprietary bits they have that you can buy for this. That is excellent. And on the other side, we have, this micro tool, which is also a great feature, which is a big advantage that this tool has over that. And I'm going to say something now that a lot of people, I don't know how they feel about it in the real world, but, with everything that we do, looks are important in the world. They are, because if you like the way something looks, it's almost like half the battle, you know. And for me, I have to like the way something looks. It can't just be functional and not have any aesthetic component to it. Having said that, you know, the PM2 is a contradiction in that, because like it's the ugliest knife in the world, or one of them, and it's just incredible. But when you actually look at these, this to me is a much more appealing look to the eye. I mean, the way they did the finish here, with the face of this, and you know, just a very good looking tool. This thing, and not that the P4 isn't good looking, but it just doesn't have the aesthetics of this. You know, if that matters to you. I mean, it might sound like something shallow, like who cares what your multi tool looks like, you know? But you know, um, I don't know. I just am old fashioned. I guess I believe that we can look good and do a good job also. You know, you can have both. So yeah, so that's it. I just wanted to bring that to the table. That if in fact you have a wave or interested in the wave because of the price component, or the price point, or maybe because it's a little smaller, it's also a little bit smaller in height, you might be more interested in it, or whatever reason you don't have access to the P4. You're losing a little bit with this as far as overall functionality, as far as the fluidity of the tool. This is extremely fluid tool. It's really good, you know, at deploying its individual tools. It's very good at that, and the Wave cannot compete with the P4 in that area. But you know, uh, but you are talking about an extremely competent tool that you know definitely has its strengths that are worth merit. Okay. All right, that's it. That's all I got. All right, have a good day.